Breaking news this hour, President Joe Biden stands in solidarity with United Auto Workers on the picket lines, marking a historic first for a sitting president. This comes ahead of Trump's planned speech to union workers in Michigan. Biden's visit is being seen as an attempt to contrast this administration's support for unions against the previous one. Meanwhile, General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis continue to focus on their bargaining positions, emphasizing the need for sustainable solutions and mutual success. There's uncertainty, however, as the specifics of Biden's support for the striking workers remain unclear. In the backdrop of this, the White House underscores the political opportunities presented by the strike, aiming for a win-win agreement for all parties. The stakes are high, and all eyes are on Michigan to see how this plays out. More on this as we delve deeper into today's hot news. Good morning, everyone. This is your host, Emily, bringing you the latest scoop on today's top stories.
And joining her, this is David.
We'll be here every day on Hot Topic. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our fresh daily updates. Now, let's get straight to the hot topics. So, folks, we have President Joe Biden walking the picket line in Michigan today in an unprecedented move to show his support for the striking United Auto Workers. The union has welcomed this gesture, stating that it underscores the importance of an economy that rewards every worker. However, this visit comes just ahead of a planned visit by former President Donald Trump, indicating a potential political move by Biden to counter his chief political opponent. Biden's visit to the battleground state occurs amidst consistently low polling numbers on his handling of economic issues and the imminent threat of a government shutdown. Interestingly, both a prolonged strike and a shutdown could have significant economic repercussions, and Biden's attempt to convince voters of the efficacy of his economic policies could face a significant test. The White House is walking a tightrope here, showing support for the auto workers without getting involved in the specifics of the negotiations. While there's no legal or legislative authority for the administration to participate in the negotiations directly, Biden's presence on the picket line sends a clear message of solidarity. However, it's interesting to note that the union has criticized the administration's support for transitioning to electric vehicle manufacturing. Despite this, top officials, including Biden, have held discussions with the UAW leadership regarding broader policy changes. What's your take on this breaking news? Now, let's delve deeper into the political landscape. Union members, who were once a stronghold for Democratic votes, seem to be shifting their allegiance towards Republican candidates, according to recent polls. President Biden's move to join the picket line is a clear attempt to rebuild trust with this critical voting group ahead of the 2024 elections. In response to Trump's forthcoming speech, the United Auto Workers president Shawn Fain took a clear stand. The fight of the union, he said, is against an economy that enriches billionaires like Trump at the expense of workers. In no uncertain terms, he criticized the practice of electing wealthy individuals who lack an understanding of the struggles of living paycheck to paycheck. Interestingly, the automakers themselves have maintained a neutral stance on Biden's visit to the picket line. General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis have all refrained from criticizing the president's support for the union. Instead, they've chosen to focus on defending their latest offers at the bargaining table. Wow, today's discussion has truly been an exploration of the ever-fluctuating world of politics and labor unions. It's fascinating to see the interplay of economic policies, labor rights, and political maneuvering unfold right before our eyes. What do you think, dear listeners? What's your take on this complex situation? Are you hooked to these updates as much as we are? Don't forget to hit that like button if you're finding this riveting discussion valuable. Stick around, we've got a lot more to discuss. As we delve deeper into this unfolding story, it's clear that President Biden's visit to the picket line is more than just a display of solidarity. The president is aiming to draw a stark contrast between his administration's support for unions and former President Trump's track record. This is a big move, considering he's set to become the first sitting president to visit a picket line in modern history. The White House has wasted no time in outlining its accomplishments in support of labor, alleging that the previous administration talked big and delivered little. They're pointing to their own economic plan, which includes incentivizing companies to localize auto and other manufacturing in the United States. The White House has called out the previous administration's tax cut for large corporations, suggesting that it only benefited companies and didn't trickle down to hardworking Americans, including auto workers. Biden has openly expressed his support for the striking UAW union. However, it's important to note that presidents, Biden included, have traditionally avoided getting involved in union disputes to avoid the appearance of taking sides. On the other side, Trump has been critical of the UAW leadership, specifically targeting UAW President Shawn Fain. Fain, in response, has hit back, highlighting the union's fight against an economy that, in his words, enriches people like Trump at the expense of workers. What's your take on this breaking news? The lead-up to President Biden's Michigan visit hasn't exactly been smooth sailing, ladies and gentlemen. Confusion and last-minute changes have dominated the planning process, and it appears to have left a lot of folks guessing about the president's itinerary. On Monday, members of the United Auto Workers, set to host the president at their picket line, were told the plan had been scrapped. Speculation ran rampant about Biden's potential whereabouts during his visit, with some even believing the trip had been canceled. I can tell you, it's not typical for a presidential visit to be surrounded by this level of uncertainty. Meanwhile, the press corps and multiple Michigan Democrats were left in the dark about the details of the visit. The logistics of this visit seem to reflect the complexity of the White House's decision to send Biden to stand in solidarity with union workers amidst an active strike. However, one thing is clear now: United Auto Workers Union President Shawn Fain is set to join President Biden on the picket line. No details about the exact location have been shared thus far. In contrast, there has been no contact between the UAW and former President Trump's team regarding his planned visit on Wednesday. So, quite a few twists and turns in this unfolding story, don't you think? How are you keeping up with this whirlwind of news? The White House has been in a bit of a balancing act. While President Biden has publicly declared his support for the auto workers, the administration is trying to avoid getting tangled in the specifics of the ongoing negotiations. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre made it clear at the Monday briefing that the president is standing with the auto workers, but the administration is not involved in the negotiations. She emphasized that it's up to the involved parties to decide on the best course of action. Amidst this delicate dance, Jean-Pierre confirmed that Biden accepted an invitation to visit the picket lines from United Auto Workers President Shawn Fain. When questions arose about whether this visit signifies the president taking the side of the workers in the negotiations, Jean-Pierre avoided getting into the nitty-gritty of the negotiations. She simply stated that the administration believes in a win-win agreement and that unions should get record deals if corporations are making record profits. It's quite a complex and politically charged situation, wouldn't you say? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. President Biden has made his intentions clear. He will be traveling to Michigan on Tuesday to walk the picket line with the United Auto Workers Union, and it seems he's ramping up his public support. In a post on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, he stated, "Tuesday, I'll go to Michigan to join the picket line and stand in solidarity with the men and women of UAW as they fight for a fair share of the value they helped create. It's time for a win-win agreement that keeps American auto manufacturing thriving with well-paid UAW jobs." In an unprecedented move, the president's appearance on the picket line underlines the significance of this moment as the strike against the nation's three largest automakers, General Motors, Ford and Stellantis, enters its second week. It's certainly shaping up to be a critical juncture for the auto industry and union workers alike. What impact do you think President Biden's involvement could have on the ongoing negotiations? And that wraps up our time today on Hot Topic. We appreciate you joining us as we dove into the latest developments concerning the auto workers' strike and President Biden's involvement. Remember, your engagement keeps this channel going. So, hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you don't miss any updates, and share our podcast with your family, friends, and fellow current affairs enthusiasts. If you enjoyed our discussion, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.
And just to keep you on your toes, remember, we're on air every single day. So, whether you're sipping your morning coffee or winding down after a long day, you can always count on us to fill you in. Oh, and keep an ear out for what's coming up. we've got some exciting things brewing.
Indeed, we do. We can't wait to be back with more interesting discussions and to hear more from you, our valued listeners. Remember, it's all about staying informed and engaged. DAV, stay in the loop, keep your eyes on the news, our channel's content will amuse. See you next time.